Hello, welcome to Scrap Time. My name is Christine, and in this video I'm going to be showing you some monoprinting and creating texture on your prints, and basically making papers to use for collage. So I just want to show you some of the samples I made when I was trying it out. When I'm doing stuff like this, I like to get a variety of mediums. So I got these tags. Some were craft, some were manila. And so I did printing on tags because you never know when you want to add a tag to a project. Then I had some of the Tim Holtz collage paper, so I printed on that. And then I was just using printing paper. I wasn't using any good thick paper. Because it's acrylic paint, you can put it on printing paper and it just as a layer just fine. It doesn't do anything to the paper. And these are ones I've used for projects, but you can see the different textures I got here with the little dots. There's some more. The other thing too, when I'm doing a lot of it, I like to try and get all the different colors, so orange, green, blue, reds. So therefore, when I'm going to collage or die cut out of it or that, I have a bunch of different colors to play with. And you can see when you do the mono printing how you can get some really interesting textures even without stamping or anything, just the layering of the paint. I really like this one with the different darks to lights, the white in there, and then the texture from the stamps. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things today. So I'm using the Ranger gel press printing plates. I've done a video with the circle and the square, and this time I'm going to use the large one, which is 5.5 inches by 11 inches. And this printing plate I think was designed to work with Diane Reevely's large tag, but you can use it for anything. I store my plates in the tin, which is sold separately, but it's fairly inexpensive and it keeps all your plates together. So I'm just going to peel off the top. I leave the bottom on, but in this case we're going to be putting our paper right onto the plate. We don't have to worry about stamping with it. Now the other thing I'm going to be using today are these art printing stamps from Carabelle. It's a French company. And in particular I want to show you the word one. Now this is just a fun texture, and what I'm showing you today you can use with any stamps, clear, rubber stamps. But these are made for printing, and we're going to work with this word one first just so I can show you what it does. I'm also going to just work with some distress paints. I have cracked pistachio, peacock feathers, and broken china. So I like to put on a couple colors onto my plate when I'm doing these more background texture. Come on, paint. There we go. I think I'm running out of, oh, there. I'm not running out, it was just. So that's quite a bit of paint. But you just brayer it on. Now in a previous video, I was adding paint to my stamp and stamping it in to give texture, but this time I'm just going to be stamping off paint. So this is the word stamp, and so I'll just put it here. Move my paint over. I think I had a lot of paint on there, but we'll give it a try. So I just want to here stamp off. So if you were to stamp with this stamp, everything would be backwards. But when you print with the stamp, it's hard to see, but the words in here, the letters are the right way. So I'm going to do another one. I'm just going to, there was a lot of paint on that, so it had a lot of paint to take off. So I'll do a thin coat. Go back in. I'm going to stamp it a few times just to remove some paint. Okay. There, that one's better. So again, when I stamp it here, it's backwards. I'm going to use the back of this paper. And when I print with it, now you should be able to see that all the words and letters are the correct way. So that's the really fun thing with the printing plates. If there's any with words, they'll be the correct way for printing. But then I also just have this texture plate here. And with this one, I can just, you know, put it wherever, and then some texture will come off there. So that's why I said you can do this with any type of stamps. It's just if you like words or letters on your printing, they have. So there it was just another print, and you can see the little mermaid. Are they mermaid things? Scallop texture, they call it. I always see it and think about mermaid. Now I'll just add in another color just for fun, just to show you how you can layer colors. So because I like, you know, I like picked raspberry, put some picked raspberry and spiced marmalade because I always have those colors handy, of course. And I just want to show you that when I do it, I don't clean my brayer between. I'm just now going in with those. I can come back with my texture, and then I can bring, this is that previous sheet with the blue. And because it's acrylic paint, a lot of times it should just sort of sit on top of the other color. So this is when you can start to get into some really interesting designs. And that's why I say you need to have lots of paper handy when you're printing, because you want to, you just want to keep going and going. So right there with the pinks and the blues and the orange on top of the blue, we're getting into some really cool things. And then I can even come in, my stamp's cool with all the different colors on it, and even like just stamp it on. That. And then even the back of this, oh, that, do I have stuff on every side? This side's plain. I'll show you this. So even though it's just a little bit, we can still put our paper on there and see. Oh, not much came off that time. But I wouldn't clean this. What I'll do is I'll leave it like this, and then the next time I go to print, even puts a bit of white on there, and you'll get some really interesting textures off there still. So I never clean my plates. I just leave them for the next printing time. So there is a couple more collage sheets. I'm really loving this one. And the thing is, you might do something and you're like, what would I ever use this for? Because it's completely crazy. Well, let me show you. The thing, you might have a huge page that's crazy, but in the end, you just want some little pieces. So here I made a card with stamps. And so I just used these flowers, I stamped them on and cut them off. So I'm only using tiny little pieces of it. So you don't see the full crazy sheet. You just see the color. And that's when I said I'd use some red and the blue and the green, and I had them all handy. I had also afterwards, this is the collage paper I collaged on my background, and I had stamped with some archival ink over top of it in the black, just there to give it some extra texture. And then another fun thing to do is use it with your die cuts. So I actually have piles of flowers. I cut out all these flowers like 4 times, even though I only used a few flowers. But when you're using just this tiny little bit, then you're not seeing this huge thing. You're only using little tiny bits of it. So that's why I think you should, when you're printing, just go crazy, layer all up, because in the end you might just use like an inch of your paper at a time. And again, I had the same sort of collage tissue paper I used on the background, and used some Nouveau crystal dots just to finish it off. So that's how, let me move some things, how you can go from this to this to this. And so hopefully that gives you some ideas of ways you can use your gel press plates. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give our video a thumbs up and subscribe to Scrap Time videos on YouTube. In the meantime, here are a couple other videos you might be interested in watching. See you next time. Bye bye.